One course that I heard of is, have you heard of that before?
Actually, I've never heard that.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Pohai.
I'm Jenny.
And we are student ambassadors for the U Asia campus, here to answer some questions about transferring from South Korea to Salt Lake City.
Let's start it.
What does the process look like for applying to transfer to Salt Lake City? And there are 4 important steps, roughly, that you should keep in mind or make sure that you complete. The first step is to fill out a transition form, which you'll fill out the semester before you transfer to Salt Lake City. So for example, if you wanted to transfer to Salt Lake City in the fall, you would fill out that form in the spring. In order to complete this form, you'll have to meet with an academic advisor here at the Salt Lake City campus, who will then sign your form before you can submit it. After you submit this form, you'll receive an email or some information with what you need to do to fill out your visa application. This includes documents like an I-20, the fees that you'll have to pay, and you'll also have to schedule an appointment with a U.S. embassy.
So once you finish your intended to Salt Lake City transition form, you'll get the email back with the required documents, and once you gather them, you should pay all the fees you have to pay, and you'll prepare for the visa interview with U.S. Embassy.
Once you've completed your interview at the U.S. Embassy, you should receive your F1 visa through your email, which you'll print out to use at the airport when you arrive to the United States.
Next question, how much fluid money is required to grant a student visa?
So a part of the visa application process is that you'll have to provide some bank statements that show you have a certain amount of money that will support you while you're living in the United States. This total is about $60,000. If you don't have the required amount of money that is necessary for your student visa application on your bank statements, it's possible that you could be denied your visa. So make sure to double check how much money is required to be shown on your bank statements. The next question we received is about the courses. What courses are available in Salt Lake City? Is it just the same classes that we have?
No, absolutely not. We actually offer more classes because it's bigger campuses. So a lot of people finish their general educations in the Utah Asia campus because we offer a lot of them. Once they finish them, they come here to explore our majors or minors here. And we have a lot of programs, courses, events. So yeah, it's totally different.
What is a class that you're taking here at the Salt Lake City campus that they did not offer in U Asia campus?
I've heard, I'm a film major art student, and they're doing a lot of sounds, AI filmmaking. That's a pretty new course since AI is progressively expanding.
One course that I heard of that will fulfill your FF credit, which is your fine art credit, which is a general requirement, is the history of rock and roll. Have you heard of that before?
Actually, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
That's
so
insane.
a really interesting course that I just recently learned about.
So dorm prices, we get a lot of them. For first, housing options, Chapel Glen, Gateway Heights, Collard Village, but you can look at it on the housing website and there are all the options. For upper division, there's some Benchmark Plaza, Epicenter, Rise on Ice Studios, etc.
And there are a lot of different options when it comes to the dorms in terms of the style of the dorm. You can have a private room, or you can have a shared room, and you can share a room with no people, or you can maybe share a unit with up to 8 people. There's lots of different options and housing styles, so make sure to check out the housing portal for options and prices.
Speaking of housing, where are you living, Pohai?
I live off campus, and it can be a little challenging for some of our international students to navigate the process of living off campus, but it's not impossible. Sometimes it's just easier to live in the dormitories for the process, the easiness of the process. Some of the closer dormitories is going to be Lassonde Studios, the Epicenter, or Ivory Housing.
Colors is pretty close too. It's right next to a gym, I think.
Oh, okay. The next question we have is about what kind of expenses you're looking at living in Salt Lake City on a month-to-month basis. Without including rent or housing fees, I typically spend about $300 to $600 a month. And this is for things like groceries, activities, maybe dining out with your friends, or other miscellaneous items. But when you first move to Salt Lake City, sometimes this can be a little bit more expensive. Your first month might be a little bit more expensive. What are some things that you bought when you came to Salt Lake City that you don't need to buy every month?
Well, in my case, I spent almost $1,000 last month. So I just moved in last month. I had to buy like standing lamp, desk lamps. For ivory housing, I needed a coffee table just to put some stuff on it.
Maybe like some kitchen supplies,
Yeah, of course.
hangers.
Kitchen supplies, beddings. So those are essential stuff. But Walmart is cheaper option, so just to know.
And you're gonna wanna buy decorations for your house to make it feel nice and homey, to help prevent you from feeling homesick.
Yep.
What mobile companies are available in Salt Lake City? A common company that people use, an affordable dual SIM option, is Mint Mobile, but there are lots of other popular cell phone companies that you can use and get a plan through them. For example, I have Verizon, but
I have T-Mobile, and a lot of people use AT&T or other stuff. But just to add on it, Mint Mobile isn't actually a company. You can walk in, right?
Mint Mobile doesn't have any stores here, but it's a pretty simple process to get service online. This next question that we have is, how much time can I spend in Salt Lake City? Like, how long can I be at the Salt Lake City campus? And the answer to that is there's no maximum amount of time that you're allowed to spend at the Salt Lake City campus. However, every Utah Asia campus student is required to spend at least 2 semesters here at the Salt Lake City campus. But this is my second semester and I'm planning to stay for a third one.
But some majors require to have at least 3 semesters.
If you're a business student, you'll definitely have to spend 3 semesters here at the Salt Lake City campus, and that's what I am. I'm majoring in business.
But yeah, you could stay longer as you wish.
This next question asks, what is the recommended semester to transfer to Salt Lake City? Should I go in the spring or the fall?
Well, for me, I just got here spring because this is my spring semester. But a lot of people prefer to be in fall semester because I haven't experienced fall semester here, but fall semester is the beginning of the semester.
Fall semester is the beginning of the academic school year. So sometimes people prefer to transfer in the fall, but sometimes people like Jenny transfer in the spring, and there's no problem with either one of them. It all just depends on your academic plan. You just want to make sure that you're taking the classes that are required to keep you on track for your graduation. Oh, another thing to add about that is that spring semester tends to be a lot colder. So spring semester is mostly during like winter weather. So if you want to enjoy some of the hot summer weather in Utah, then you'll probably want to come during the fall. If you plan to transition in the fall semester of 2025, can I do summer courses? And the short answer is no. If you're planning to transition to Salt Lake City campus during the fall semester, unfortunately, you cannot take classes the summer before you transfer. The tuition model here at the Salt Lake City campus is slightly different than the way tuition is charged to us at the U Asia campus. And the best way to find out what your tuition prices will look like when you come to Salt Lake City is to refer to the tuition estimator calculator, where you can input the classes that you're planning to take. It'll ask you questions about what type of student you are, if you are a Utah resident, out-of-state resident, or an international student, and it will take all of those things into account and provide you a really great estimate for what you can expect to pay in terms of tuition. This rate also changes depending on what classes you're taking, because sometimes in certain majors, when you take upper division courses, your tuition will slightly increase. That's the case for some of my business classes.
Is there any scholarships they offer here?
For scholarships here at the Salt Lake City campus, there are specific scholarships that are offered through the U-Asia campus, but for other scholarship opportunities, you can refer to the university website. We'll provide a link in this video where you can go and check out what scholarships apply to you, which ones you can submit applications for.
And also, you can look at on-campus jobs that might give you tuition deductions.
We're almost at the end of our video, and you are fairly new to Salt Lake City. Overall, how has it been transferring over to the Salt Lake City campus?
I would say it wasn't too hard. I just prepared all the documents I needed. I actually, I had to make another interview session to get the visa because I was denied once because of the year thingy wasn't right.
Okay.
But other than that, I prepared them well. I got the housing. First time I was so concerned I wouldn't be able to get housing because I've heard it's pretty competitive, but it wasn't too hard.
If this is your first time going abroad or your first time coming to the United States, or maybe this is your first time in Salt Lake City, Utah, sometimes it can be a little intimidating to navigate around the city, but once you get the hang of it and you figure out which bus schedule or track station is close to you, then the opportunities to explore Utah are endless.
And also make sure to, when you come here, you should walk around campus and get used to those buildings and names and ways because it's massive compared to U-Asia campus. So
yes, the campus is huge. There's so many people here. So I guess my advice in transferring to this or transitioning to the Salt Lake City campus is to stick by your friends, try to make new friends once you arrive, and
go to events, cult fairs,
and put yourself out there. Have a good time.
Yep.